So we have talked before in our Sunday services about the massive purification that is happening in these days, in the world, but also in our individual lives. So today I want to look more closely at how important the function of our minds is in such times. Last week, Jae-young Nim, don't see him right now, but he touched briefly on developing a stable mind that is not governed by anything but the truth. 3 weeks ago, Eugen described the mind that is upwardly aligned. He said it is open to the vibrations and pulsations of heaven. And being filled with that, it perceives factors of the earth and penetrates them. It sees the deeper creative potential in these factors and helps bring that creative potential forth. I thought that was such a beautiful description. And I guess it is something that all of us would like to experience more in our living. So I suggest that particularly in this time of massive purification, developing the ability of the true mind will make a critical difference in our lives, in the lives of those we touch, and in the world. So, for example, maybe for a few days you have a peaceful, happy experience. And then something happens and suddenly everything's falling apart. Right in front of you. Maybe it's conflict among people you love, broken agreements, broken trust. So instead of focusing on who's right and who's wrong, we can look for the deeper creative potential that situation is opening. Likely, we will see that there are unhealed patterns surfacing through that conflict. They're surfacing so they can heal. So that's one example of what Eugen was describing. Seeing the deeper creative potential in earthly factors. So earthly factors, things of the earth, are building to pressure points. I think we can see that everywhere. But they're building to pressure points for purification. Not many people see that. People's true potential is often blocked by negative patterns that they have been unable to heal and clarify. Until enough pressure builds, those unhealed patterns hide out. And people are not usually aware of their own unhealed negative patterns. Or if they are aware, they have not yet found ways to heal and resolve them. So when such pressure points build, you may wonder, why is this happening? I was just moving, functioning quite creatively. What did I do to deserve this? Well, there might be several reasons, but likely the pressure situation came to you because you have a part to play in providing a womb of love to heal that pattern. Unhealed patterns have a way of coming into containers, wombs of love, so that they may be healed. So can you feel how different that perspective is from getting involved in a conflict? So that is an example of the upwardly aligned mind that is focused in the truth. It's not caught by the situation. Actually, it can be quite alluring to get involved in a situation and try to figure out the complexities in it. That is what most people do. So their thinking and feeling is triggered by what is happening in their environment. That produces reflective thought by what we call the mirror mind. It sees reflections in the mirror and reacts to them and bounces off of them somewhat like a pinball machine. Thoughts bounce off of one thing and then hit another, and then they again bounce off and hit yet another. So there's no elevation, no higher perspective. So nothing really new comes into the situation. Even if we're using our most perceptive insights and our best intuition, unless we're accessing heaven's higher perspective, we are not seeing truly. Sometimes unhealed patterns are so noisy. It takes a powerful will to shut off that noise and instead attune to heaven. A man by the name of Martin, whose true spiritual leadership inspired Eugen and me for decades, described the true mind as a window mind. It is a mind that is a window for heaven, not a mirror, a window. A window that lets heaven's light in, that lets heaven's perspective and love in, that lets heaven's understanding in. So actually that is what Martin did in every service that he spoke for over 30 years. And he did that not only when he was speaking in service, but also consistently in his living. And that's why he could do it so well in the hour of service. I was profoundly impacted by the deep ease I felt in Martin. And I know enough of the large challenges he had to handle that I have pondered, how did he come to this deep sense of ease? And through Martin, I also experienced how many people can be uplifted by just one person who lives in the deep ease of the window mind. That is the experience of living in heaven on earth, right in the midst of earth's foibles and challenges. And for probably at least 3 decades, I experienced the tremendous creative power of that. And also, that is what we are all meant to do. So, when someone does something or says something that could destroy something precious, what do? The mirror mind creates separation. People create separation by arguing different viewpoints and issues. But there's something deeper that was triggered by the issues. If issues dominate our thinking, we're probably missing the really important point. Can you see how life might be creating a scenario through this for deeper wounds to be healed in a womb of love? And you are there to play a part in that. With the window mind, what we see is very different. We see how heaven, life, is clearing pathways. So people who are willing may provide a powerful womb to transform unhealed patterns, to transform the world. So when we begin to see with the window mind, we see how limited those who only see with the mirror mind, how limited what they see is. The mirror mind doesn't see what's really happening at all. It's caught in the reflections of the mirror. These are shadowy patterns of the earth. And the mirror mind is struggling to make sense out of these shadowy reflections in the mirror without the light of heaven. So the mirror mind usually thinks something is wrong. But the window mind sees it's really a creative opportunity. Something that has been waiting to happen often for years. It couldn't happen because there wasn't enough pressure. So the patterns didn't come to surface. When the mirror mind controls, people usually indulge in judgment.